Wow, that was not at all what I expected, but I should expect what I don't expect at this point with Sleep Token. It has been such a fun journey doing musical analysis for this group. I'm Peter Barber. I'm a professional opera singer and music producer, and I just did my first time reaction and full analysis of Emergence, Sleep Token's latest song. Absolutely wild. The genre blending, the atmospheres, some new things I hadn't heard from them before, namely the instrumental solo at the end really caught me off guard. I hope you guys enjoy my reaction to that, and I hope you learned something going forward. So please sit back and enjoy my first time reaction and analysis of Emergence, and I'll see you after.
Well, you were late in verse, living on a promised word. Well, I am the rose you relinquished again. You and I are down head first in another world I had. But I have a feeling we're close to the end. So
I love this so far. Such cool chords. I'm such a sucker for interesting chords. What's really interesting about their approach to the start here is we have this high-pitched drone. First of all, usually when you drone, especially at the start of a song, it's the low drone that stays on the one. This one is on, this is a high-pitched drone. You'll hear it's the first thing that comes in, and usually that pitch is going to be the bottom of the scale of the key that they're in, but this is not. You hear that drone, and then a chord comes in that is pretty much unrelated to the drone. Okay, it's an E natural, not F sharp.
well, you were late.
So interesting.
Well, you were late in verse, living on a promised word. Well, I am the rose you
There, it finally lands.
relinquished again.
So cool.
You and I are down head first in another world.
Crunchy.
I have a feeling we're close.
So that's our tonic. B. Yeah, so we have this E that's just on the fourth, but I believe B minor. Is this where we finally settle?
I have a feeling
That to me feels like the tonic, meaning the one chord of the key. So I believe they're in B minor here.
I have a feeling we're close to the end. So
God, there's so much lovely dissonance happening. I absolutely love crunch and I love dissonance, and there's a lot of it, and it's done in a way where the main notes of each chord they're played very prominently. And then the dissonant notes often are quieter, but they're in there. So they're adding crunch and kind of suspension and stuff like that, but it's not really in your face. It's more contributing to the atmosphere, which is what Sleep Token's all about. They're all about creating these cool atmospheres with sound. It's like the Hans Zimmer of whatever genre this is, like soundscapes, atmospheres. That's like his thing. That's kind of like Sleep Token's doing in this world of like, I don't know what world they're in. They operate in a number of different genres.
I have a feeling we're close to the end.
It's like, oh my gosh, the crunch, baby.
Close
It's subtle.
to the
That note right there.
Come on,
So they're in G major here, or E minor, I guess, probably more likely leaning towards E minor, but those are the relative keys to one another. G major has the same notes in its scale as E minor. It just depends on where you start in that scale. I haven't even been thinking about Vessel's voice because these harmonies are so cool and so interesting to me. So let me just, I'll use this second section to talk about his his singing. No, that's G major right there. Do do do. Beautiful layered harmonies. I believe Vessel does a lot of the stuff in studio. Right? I don't think he drums, but I think he plays guitar and keys and vocals. He does this all himself in studio, and then when they tour, they have other musicians, 3 and 4, I believe, that come in to do what he does in the studio. I believe. Comment below. So I believe we have Vessel layered harmonies here vocally. And he's operating in this lovely, like, he's keeping it very light. So even when he's in his chest voice, it's still a light kind of production. It's not big, powerful belting. And then he does go up into his falsetto. Up there. What key are we in again? G? Thought we were in G. Up around that high F sharp, he definitely flips into that much lighter mechanism, and you can hear the change in quality when it gets a little breathier and a little disconnected from that chesty resonance, and that really actually is a shift out of that chest voice register into a head voice or falsetto. Come on. Oh yeah, so he's in the major 7 of that G. Out from underneath who you were. So we're still having sick voice, so my voice is still cracking. He's layering himself on that high harmony is like all head voice falsetto, which is nice because it blends really well. It's not going to get in the way of the lower harmony, which is the lead melody. If he was belting up above there in chest voice, it would probably distract from the core melody instead of just enhancing it. So that's a really nice choice there, and functionally too, probably better for his voice to operate in the lighter mechanism. So we get the lead melody in that raw chest voice with a little bit of head voice, like a dash of head voice, on a note or two, and then in the high harmony, it's all that lighter mechanism. Come on. Like, it's just all that lighter mechanism, which just blends so nicely. Come on, you know that it's time to win my... Back to minor and some distorted, modulated vocals. And also that whole section... it's pretty much just guitar. I mean, it's very atmospheric guitar, of course, because it's Sleep Token, but it's mostly guitar, like picked guitar. There's like a lot of picking action going on, but it creates an atmosphere. They've done a nice job creating a soundscape with it, putting it kind of all throughout the stereoscopic image is how you hear sounds left to right, especially if you're listening in headphones. It's a mixing engineering thing. So without much instrumentation, they've created a big space, which is cool. And that's all done with, mainly reverb and delay. There's, of course, some other things. There's probably some backing things that are very subtle that are adding and filling out the space a little bit. There's often a lot of layers of Sleep Token, even when it sounds simple, because, again, atmosphere. Got that meme of like the ancient aliens guys but he's like, atmosphere. Mason already knows what we're about to do. Don't you, Mason? Mason's my editor. So what they're doing here is these vocals are modulated down without accounting for what are called formants. And formants represent the shape of your vocal tract when a sound is produced. If you lower a pitch without accounting for the natural formant change, then it starts to sound like this. And so here's what we're going to do. Mason, I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, and then I'm going to talk normally, and Mason's going to do the thing where he pitches my voice down and it sounds like a ogre because of the format thing. 3, 2, 1.
So the thing about Sleep Token is that they're really interesting with how they do harmonic and chordal structures.
Okay, Mason, let's go back. So I was talking normally that whole time. And if it was edited right, which I'm sure it will be, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to this. Now, my voice modulated down sounds really freaky because it's already very low. It's different for Vessel, who's a much higher voice, a tenor voice. But still, actually, you know what? I can probably imitate the sound he's doing pretty well because it's almost like they turned Vessel's vocal tract into my vocal tract, a bass singer's vocal tract. So this is gonna be fun. Hold on. We're having fun. We have fun here. Go ahead and wrap your arms around me. Go ahead. Right? It's like that. So that's me singing, trying to make it darker and weird sounding, right? But without any modulation. That was just my voice. That's a really interesting concept. If you modulate a high tenor's voice down without accommodating to a formants, you basically give them a low bass's vocal tract. Wild. And notice how everything else stopped too. Like, of course, it's atmospheric, but we don't have any of the plucked or strummed guitar instruments. We have, again, a drone, which might be a soprano or alto voice. It's so far away, it's hard to tell what it is. And actually, the onset of an instrument or a voice is really what gives it away. Sometimes you could play like a French horn quietly, and if you don't hear the onset, and then you play like, I don't know, a clarinet quietly, and you don't hear the onset, the timbres, once they're sustaining pitch on a soft note, is actually shockingly similar. For example, I think those two would work. Now, if you're blasting the horn and you're blasting the clarinet, then it becomes clearer. But all to say, there is some kind of drone happening in the background. Let me see if I can tell if it's a voice or not. Maybe synth and voice. Wait. So there's definitely a synth. That's clear. I think it's a synth, and then I think a soprano or alto comes in on that B, that pitch after the synth's already been in. Right there. That sounds more like a voice. New genre. Here we go. Like 80s sci-fi movie. What? Out in the vents, my blood beats so alive, my bite right through your lenses. Oh my god, they just don't give a fuck. They're just like, I want to do a trap beat now, and I want to rap a little bit after doing this first section. So I just released a video on Take Me Back to Eden. I think that one also had a rap like section that shocked me, deeply shocked me. And this one again, yeah, it's just like, let's just put a bunch of genres in one song. It's wild. However you feel about it, it's wild. I'm gonna get into this. Not a standard drum beat though. Like that's another thing they do. Is the drum beats are always really cool. Now this is studio produced drums, right? It's not a drum set. So I believe this is Vessel, I believe, produces this music as well. So I think he's programmed these drums. So it's not your standard drum pattern. There's a lot of syncopation. There's hits happening when you wouldn't intuitively expect them to be happening. This is like another staple of Sleep Token. Oh my God, I just realized how long this video is going to be. So, wow. Hope you guys are in for it. It's all right. It's so interesting.
My white gold burst out of my chest and hide out in the vents. My blood beats so alive, my bite right through your lens. It's midnight in my mind, I drown in out the daylight. Godspeed to my enemies and be asking for that call sign. You know the behavior, canines of the savior. Glory to the legion, trauma for the neighbors.
So moving bass line, drums, same drum kit the whole time, but shifting. The beats are unusual. And we have this, what sounds to me like 80s alien, that the screamy guitar happening as well, which was happening before the trap beat came in as well. And otherwise, Vessel, as far as the singing, it is a nice blend of rapping and singing, right? Because often rapping there won't be intentional pitch. There won't be a clear melody. Obviously, every time you phonate, there is pitch. But this is like really, there is precise melody. At the same time, it's delivered in a speech-like, rap-like sort of way.
Asking for that call sign, you know the behavior, canines of the savior. Glory to the legion, trauma for the neighbors.
I like it. I love the plucky synths. Of course, there's a lot of reverb and delay. It adds to the atmosphere, but we get the and they start, and then a harmony comes in upon them. All while we get these distorted vocals happening. So a cool little down section that is different from the context in which we first heard these distorted vocals. Surround me. More atmosphere. It needs more cowbell. It needs more atmosphere. It needs more atmosphere. That almost sounded like a cowbell. That would have been really funny. Open hi-hat.
I've got solar flares for your dead god, space dust for your fuel rods, dark days for your solstice, dancing through the depths of hellfire on the winds that started from within. My blood beats so alive, my tear right through my skin. So tell me what you meant by living past your half-life and lockstep in the universe and your
crazy drum beats.
Afterlife, you know that I'm sanctified by what's below. No matter what you do, no matter where you go.
I really love how they've got these super heavy guitars in the left and right ear, and then a lot of the drums are down the middle. So along with the voice, so it's very clean. The mix is lovely. Whoever does the mixing is lovely, clear mix, clean mix. Very, very difficult. I think, having done a lot of things in the music industry, I think mix engineering on a fully professional level, like radio ready level, is the hardest thing. It's the hardest skill. It takes so much time listening. And once your ears are super, super refined. You have to learn how to use all the plugins and what they do and this and that and how frequencies interact with each other and all this stuff. It's like, it is the deepest rabbit hole you can go down. So my hat is off whenever I hear a clean mix pretty much of any kind in any genre. Oh, but this is cool because we have this trap beat rap section, but obviously the drums are a lot more intense now. And it's a real drum set, not a trap beat, but it's a similar beat, but it's real drums now. And of course we have the heavy guitars back in action. And my camera is overheating, so I'll be back shortly. Something so interesting about this section as well is that, Vessel's not operating in a high part of his range. It's really in the middle, and it's very speech-like. How I was mentioning, it's delivered rap-like with melody, speech-like with melody earlier, before my camera blew up from overheating. What's interesting is he's operating right in the middle of his range here, despite all the intensity happening in the instrumentation around him. Usually, if the instrumentation's really intense, you also get an intense vocal delivery, but we don't get that here. Okay, well, we're back to huge atmospheric space, tons of reverb and delay on all the things. Similar to one of the earlier sections, I believe, in this piece as well. And vocally, Vessel's once again operating in towards that upper end of his chest range, but with his layered harmonies in that much lighter falsetto. What's interesting here is that compared to when he was doing that previously, these harmonies are more a part of the atmosphere than they are a harmony, how a harmony is normally treated, where it's like you hear the lead melody very clearly, you hear the harmony pretty darn clearly, but not as clearly as the melody, and then the atmosphere is in the back. This is more like lead melody, and then the harmonies are like part of the atmosphere. They're like really soft and super far away and in that light, airy head voice, but they're in there. So give a listen for those harmonies. And it's higher. He was all the way up to that B there. His falsetto harmonies are higher here as well than they were earlier. I love a major chord. I love just this big, beautiful. I was trying to think of a band it reminded me of. Can't think of any specifics off the top of my head, but like there's some big kind of alternative rock ballad in like the 90s. I want to say 90s, early 2000s, somewhere in there. Someone knows what I'm talking about. Really, really nice. Again, the mixing's wonderful. Just like the way the drums are laid out, the way the vocals are still very clear, but we still do get that atmosphere without it being really muddy. It's really, really, really lovely. Really lovely. And Vessel operating in still a comfortable part of his range, right? Where, we haven't heard him really stretch it or push it in this piece like we have on some of the other songs I've done for this group. Can we appreciate that drum fill though? Okay, back to this. Just an absolute wall of sound with heavy, heavy guitars and heavy, heavy drums coming out of that little down section where it's "Wrap your arms around me," which we've heard. That has been one of the more main tenets of this song. It actually does keep coming back for us, which is unusual, I think, to have. I don't know. I don't remember everything I've heard in the previous songs I've done, but that is something. That is a motif that keeps coming back here, and not indicative of what comes right after it, which is this super, super heavy section with no vocals, just instrumental. We have a slightly maybe a different chord progression, or they move to a new key. I'm actually not sure. It's hard. You get really lost in the sauce with this stuff, they do. But we are back to really a very similar section to what we heard before it deviated and went to the modulated vocals into the really hard rock instrumental. We are back very similarly to the previous sections. This is almost like that was a penultimate chorus into a bridge into this potentially final chorus like section. You know, the harmonies here are really functioning kind of the same way they were a bit ago, where it's more like they're part of the atmosphere. They're like part of the soundscape rather than being a very clear like two-part leading harmony to the lead melody. Much more atmospheric. It's like drums, guitars, voice, and then there is piano in the background. There's a bunch of synths in the background. Those harmonies are in the background, but there's like a pretty clear divide over the very forward instruments and the instruments that are more contributing to the atmosphere, which is smart. I mean, if you want to have a clean mix while it being atmospheric, you really have to prioritize what you want to be heard. And they've done a great job here. What? I mean, sexy. Damn. Sexy sax. Where the hell did that come from? Oh my God. And really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful playing. Who's playing sax? Does Vessel play sax? Or do they bring in a saxophonist for this? This is some really excellent sax playing. I was in jazz band for 3 years back in the day, middle school, part of high school. And I was in a jazz singing group in high school, actually, called Generation Jazz. Shout out to that. So I do have a decent amount of experience with jazz, actually, jazz instrumentation and jazzy chords. I didn't know anything about music back then. It was all by feel. Now I, intellectually know much more about it. But this is beautiful. I've got no problem with a beautiful sax jazzy moment here. It just, I did not expect it after the metal. Wild. Keeping us on our toes. No. We got to get the transition. Major 7. I love the movement. Now, right now, most people's ears are going to be really paying attention to the sax because it's the solo instrument. But listen to the movement in the piano that is playing against the saxophone, or playing against. Sometimes it's moving together, sometimes it's moving away, sometimes the rhythms are similar, sometimes they're different. But really just cool to hear the interplay between the piano and the saxophone. It's like a conversation happening. Like, it's not just chords in the piano. There's like a lot of also solo-like movement, usually towards the end of beats or bars, end of bars. The saxophones, it only plays one note at a time, right? So it's always going to be a more like virtuosic kind of solo instrument in that way. But notice how the piano, it's playing the chords, right? It's highlighting our chordal structure, but then it's also adding some improvisation and some cool movement. Do-da-do-da. Oh, wait. Okay. Britpop? You see that playlist for Britpop at the end that they put on? Is that what they call themselves? Britpop? No idea. That was wild. That was really, really cool and fun. And man, yeah, there's a lot to talk about, and it's just a fascinating approach to songwriting again, and it's really been an enjoyable journey. So guys, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something or gained appreciation for this group in some way. Really an immensely talented group of musicians here. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure checking them out. So if you did learn something, if you did enjoy this, please do consider supporting me on Patreon. That's the best way to do it. Links in the description. And I will see you for the next Sleep Token video. Leave suggestions below. Peace.